Coming up on the CHGO Cubs podcast, presented by Toyota and Bet365, yet another royal bummer. The Cubs lose a series at home to a mediocre American League team. Not good, and that pitching priority is now a 5-alarm fire. CHGO Cubs next. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs podcast, driven by Toyota. Let's go places and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use the code CHGO365 at sign up. Luke Stuckmeyer, Joey Christopoulos with you after a loss 8-4 to the Royals. They lose 2 out of 3 to Kansas City at Wrigley Field. Sarah spinning the dials and running the ones and twos for us. We are in Studio B, and that's what we deserve after a series like that. Shunned away to Studio B. Put away in the closet. That's where we're at
right
after that
cupboard.
series. And, the Royals put it to the Cubs. 2 losses. In those 2 losses, 20 runs they put on Cubs pitching. So we will talk a lot about pitching. We will talk about a lot of the trade targets who actually were playing already this afternoon. At least 3 pitching targets have already thrown today. And we saw one of them right at Wrigley Field. Kyle Tucker wasn't in this game because of the foul ball yesterday. That had an impact on the game. But Joey, first of all, just your initial thoughts on losing 2 out of 3 in today's game.
My initial thoughts are, when you walk into games like today when it's a rubber match, the Cubs have been really good this season at winning 2 out of 3 and winning the series of a lot of these matchups that they've had all season long. So the fact that they didn't get it done today against a below 500 team like the Royals, against a team that coming into today had scored 355 runs all season, second worst in Major League Baseball. And if you're scoring at home, the White Sox have scored 15 more runs than the Royals, and they put up an 8 spot on them against Colin Rea on a day when the wind's blowing out. I got to go with this is the most disappointing series of the season.
Yeah, well, It's the most disappointing series of the season because it's right before you play the Brewers. The Brewers have caught you and at one point passed you for first place, and they're still playing great baseball. They could pass the Cubs again this afternoon. And frankly, you can't lose a series to the Royals at home. You just can't. I know funny things happen in baseball, and teams lose series like this all the time. But now you have a series against the White Sox where it seems like, and I've seen it even in the chat, it seems like you have to sweep them.
Yeah, sweep
because
or bust, right?
You can't afford to go down a couple games before you play the Brewers. That's just so deflating for this team. Game 1, yes, you didn't have PCA. Game 3, in the other loss, you didn't have Kyle Tucker. I'll go back to saying this is why another reason Kyle Tucker needs to be here this year. Both guys at the same time need to be in the lineup. It's very difficult when you take a player like that out of this. Now, both games were lost by pitching. Don't get me wrong.
Agreed.
When you give up 12 runs to the Royals and 8 runs to the Royals, you deserve to lose. And that's wind blowing in, wind blowing out. Colin Rea, we had just said he'd been so much better the last couple starts, so much better. And I'm not going to say he was horrible in this game. After all, he is their 5th starter. He's been everything, probably exceeded expectations for what you wanted out of him. But 3 2-run homers will sink you every single time.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's a small caveat, and it's not the reason why they lost the series, but you're right, and it isn't quite the comparison of the backup quarterback playing, just hoping that you can win when you don't have a PCA or you don't have a Kyle Tucker in the lineup. But for everybody that occasionally likes to say we should trade Kyle Tucker, the lineup looks a little bit different when he's not in that lineup. And on a day-to-day when they needed to get the ball in the air, they were unable to do it. I'm not saying that would have changed it, but hopefully he comes back and he's healthy. When it comes to Colin Rea, A couple easy things to point out. Colin Rea's had problems getting left-handers out all season long. Yep. Vinny Pasquantino was a problem today. And when you look at it, he only gave up 6 hits the whole game. 5 of them were to Sally Perez, and 5 of them were combined between Sally Perez and Vinny Pasquantino. 3 of those were home runs. So he didn't pitch terrible. He pitched maybe a little bit to the elements. The offense just wasn't able to show up. But Luke, man, we've been on it, and we're going to be on it in the days to come. Does this not sort of feel like when you're in high school and next week is picture week and some of the zits are starting to rise to the surface? And we've seen it with the 4-starter and the 5-starter in this rotation right now. And if anything, when you say 5 alarm in that cold open, I think you're right. Like, it's not about being a prisoner of the moment. It's about trying to take care of your future. Yeah. And the 4 or 5 starters in this rotation this week just simply did not get it done for the Cubs against a Royals team that, again, does not score a lot of runs.
Not that they needed any convincing, because certainly they've seen the same problems we do. But Jed Hoyer and Carter Hawkins certainly have looked at this last stretch, and including this series, and you have to look at it and go, wait a minute, we might need 2. We might need 2 starters, and pitching is definitely the biggest problem. And we'll talk about this maybe a little bit later in the podcast as well. But for everybody that wants Gino Suarez, and understandably can agree with you on that, like adding a guy with that many home runs at third base to this offense from the right side of the plate sure sounds great to me. But I am still starting to wonder if pitching is such a priority that has to be put on the back burner, because you're not going to accomplish everything at the trade deadline that you want to, unless you're just going to give away the entire farm system, which you also don't want to do. So sooner or later, they're going to have to make a priority list. Hopefully they've done that already and they've fine-tuned it and they're ready to go. But yeah, Colin Rea, like you mentioned, the lefties today goes 5 innings, 5 earned runs, 6 hits, 3 strikeouts, and 3 2-run homers. Listen, I know the defense. You knew this was going to be rough right from the beginning. You just hoped that with the wind blowing out, it wasn't going to be that big of a deal that on the first play in right field, Seiya, who's filling in for Kyle Tucker, loses an easy pop-up. I know the wind. I'm not saying the wind wasn't difficult. We watched a lot of players try to adjust with a pop-up. But again, this is why Seiya is the DH. This is why you need him as a DH. So for all the people that say, well, if Tucker walks and leaves in free agency, you can always just put Seiya back in right. And to that person, I say, no, you cannot. No, you cannot.
And I've said that too. But again, yeah, for all the people that can say he's playing right field, is that Seiya's agent, right? Remember in the offseason, he said he could play right field. And look, he has a hard time tracking balls out there. We all know, if anyone's a Cubs fan in this chat, that playing right field in Wrigley,
it's tough.
It's a different type of position.
Doug Glanville told me it's the toughest outfield spot he ever had to play.
Because you got the sun, right? You've got that little well, you've got that corner in the middle there, and then you have some of that wind cut that obviously on that particular play kept driving Seiya into the corner. And that's what Seiya does. He doesn't try and get to a spot. He kind of drifts as he tracks, and I think that gives him a hard time bringing the ball into the glove. But again, what an awful way to start a baseball game. And on a really, really hot day, it felt a bit at times like this team was kind of playing in molasses a little bit, was a little bit subdued. And another thing with the offense, just really quickly, is that they haven't really been working counts quite the way that they normally have when they have that type of long, sustained, consistent success that we've seen. Didn't really see it a lot today. Maybe a part of that is Seth Lugo, which we'll get into today. But again, yeah, with Seiya playing right field, I think that is a tough thing to trust. And the only thing I'll throw back to you on is they have played him in center field. Yeah. They played him in left field.
Shocking, too.
Do you think, is that playing with fire, or do you think Craig Counsell has more confidence in Seiya playing outfield than probably me and you do combined right now?
No, I think they have no confidence in anybody else to play the position. That's what's so crazy about Vidal Brujan. Like,
what's he doing
if you're not confident in him to play center field and bat, then why even have that roster spot? What are you waiting for? Unless you're just waiting for the trade deadline and for something else. I saw, I think Craig Brindle saying talking about, give me Matt Shaw as a bench bat, Suarez at third. And I'm not saying I don't think that's a possibility. I was just questioning whether pitching has become such a priority, such a 5-alarm fire, that does that drop to third on your wish list, or fourth on your wish list? And has Matt Shaw, I've seen, I think it was even Marquis talking about, maybe it was Lance Brozdowski. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but I think they called it the recent emergence of Matt Shaw. Could it be changing plans, right? And Shaw hit another home run today. Sure, the wind was blowing out, but
to left center though, it wasn't like he was pulling on it, right? He was turning and burning and guessing and maybe getting ahead on a pitch.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the ones that he's hit to right center. It was a ball that's hit into that typical power gap area. And again, it was very towering and the wind helped out, but I just think that where he got it, I thought that was a positive sign. 9 for 22 his last 8 games for a 409 average, 6 RBIs, 3 home runs. No one can say it's not trending in the right direction. The question is,
right, do you believe the sample size?
Yes.
Is an 8-game sample size of definite improvement enough for you to buy in and say, you know what, the starting pitching is such a problem. Shaw, we know we're getting good defense at third. We can roll the dice on that we're going to get somewhere in between this 8-game window and the Shaw that really looked lost at the plate. We're willing to deal with that to spend our priorities somewhere else at the trade deadline. Or is it an 8-game window of fool's gold and they have a huge problem at third base and they have some pitching problems and you're really going to have to be creative? I don't know if I know the answer. I just know that 8-game window has made it a little more interesting at third.
Absolutely.
Made the answer a little more interesting.
Yeah, and look, I don't think we're asking for 409. And I don't think Cubs fans either want to see him hit 200, 210. And honestly, with the exit velos that he's displayed consistently throughout the season, the lack of slug, he scores runs, he does get on base. But can you get us up to league average? Can you give us league average offensively and play the type of defense that he's played? We've seen a lot of great offensive players play third base for the Chicago Cubs, at least in the last 25 years in the 21st century. I think defensively, I think he's right up there with some of the best that we've seen already as a rookie. Can you give us league average offensively? Because I'm still with you. I think Eugenio Suarez would be awesome. But I do think pitching is by far the biggest need on this team right now. Ask yourself the question, if anyone else goes down, if we lost a Colin Rea or a Chris Flexen or somebody else, who are we turning to? I think depth has gotten very thin at that position, and that's what they need to address the most.
To be fair, if Matt Shaw were to get injured, what the heck are you doing at third base? So that
John Birdie, I guess, baby.
Man.
Birdie, baby.
You don't feel great about that. Now, I don't. Becky, who's always here in the live YouTube chat here at the all-new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel, we appreciate you and all your comments. Make sure you subscribe, like, tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell a total stranger. Becky said right now it's not a playoff team. I don't believe that. I still think, didn't they enter the day tied for the best record in baseball?
They still have the best run differential. They're still right up there in runs scored.
It's a playoff team. Becky,
it's
a playoff team. But just like every other team right now pushing towards the playoffs, every team has flaws. Every team has places where you can improve them. And one has been glaring, certainly the last couple days in the pitching staff, the back half of the pitching staff. I feel great about Boyd. I feel great about Shota. I'm even okay with Tyone when he comes back. He's had some quality starts if and when he comes back. But after that, you don't really know what you have. Like, we felt good about Colin Rea for a couple starts, and then you don't. Ben Brown, you can't feel comfortable with that. People say Assad. I don't know if Assad's ever going to pitch this year. And if he does, how long is he going to stay healthy?
Do not count on him.
You can't count on Assad. So there's a lot to think about here in the week leading up to the trade deadline. And my belief is there's a lot of teams going after pitching. And so I want to see the Cubs get aggressive now because I think you might have to make multiple moves, and don't wait till guys start to come off the board and the price continues to go up on this because other teams become more and more desperate. What do you think about pitching? I know the Cubs need it now. Who do you want to see? Let's talk about them in the chat and after the break. But first, a word from our sponsors.
Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. New customers right now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose, Luke. And I lose quite a bit, so that's good news for me. Sign up, use the code CHGO365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Now, here's the best part. MLB early payout offer. With the Bet365 early payout offer, you are a winner if your team gets 5 runs ahead with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winner. So download the app today and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. New customers get $150 bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose. So sign up. CHGO365 must be 21 plus or older. If you know someone that has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. In-app apply.
Hey, baseball fans, if you're thinking about upgrading your drive this season, then you have to check out Toyota's 2025 lineup. There's the RAV4, versatile, reliable, and always ready for a little adventure. The Grand Highlander, plenty of room, super comfortable, great for families. Looking for efficiency? The Corolla's got you covered. It's smart, it's stylish, it's easy on gas, and if you need something tougher, Tacoma brings you serious durability. And finally, the Camry, sleek and packed with performance. Summer starts here, so visit your local dealer. You can check out the full lineup at Toyota.com or stop by your local Chicagoland Toyota dealership. Toyota, let's go places. What a time it is here. It was the Cubs try to push to the playoffs to sign up and be a diehard. Or maybe you're a Bears fan getting ready for the biggest season in Chicago Bears history. Become a CHGO diehard today. Upgrade your fandom. Get access to our exclusive written content. We've added Adam Johns. A free t-shirt, plenty of discounts on future merch and events, and access to our CHGO Discord lounge. Go to allchgo.com. Diehards, we've got a special deal for you right now. It is the Friday 120 Club coming up on August 15th. It's a diehard exclusive deal right now. We will pregame 10 a.m. at Murphy's Bleachers, as always, the Friday 120 Club. But then, instead of going to the bleachers, we will go to a rooftop, the one right next to the firehouse. All the food and drink you can handle, all under the same price. Diehards only right now. It's going to be the first time we've ever done a rooftop event. I haven't been to a rooftop in many, many years, so I'm looking forward to that. I love that. Exclusive. Make sure you get your tickets now.
I love that Shady Rays and Sunnyside are comboing sponsors. Yeah, it just seems like
that's right.
They seem like good bedfellows.
All right, so the Cubs lose 8-4, and in their 2 losses to the Royals, they give up a total of 20 runs. Headline, newspaper, Cubs need pitching now, right now. And here's the tricky part, Joey.
Yeah.
3 trade targets pitched this afternoon that the Cubs have been linked to, okay? Number 1, Sandy Alcantara. He pitched against number 2, Dylan Cease, back in the picture. We'll talk about that in a second. And number 3, pitched against the Cubs, Seth Lugo. Why is it important? The Cubs play the Brewers on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. One of those 3 guys could make their next start against the Brewers. I don't want to see another bullpen game. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Get one of these frontline starters. I don't care which one it is. Make sure it's the right one and throw them against the Brewers.
That is the most. Getting the right one is the important one, right? Because when Jeff Passan and Kylie McDaniel come out with their 30 MLB trade fits, and the Chicago Cubs are tied to 15 different players, 14 of them are starting pitchers. Mm-hmm. I mean, can you sometimes have, paralysis by analysis or too much of a good thing? I'm hoping that Jed Hoyer is really whittling it down right now to find out who is the right person in this moment, at this time, for this team that can be a difference maker that can take them to the next level.
One reason that I want them to add one of these pitchers now, like days before the break, we still have like a week before the trade deadline, I want them to add it now because I don't want the group of players you have to choose from to shrink. But just as importantly, everything could come down to 1 or 2 games this season. You're facing the Brewers. Don't waste a start against the Brewers. Go ahead and get somebody that gives you a really good chance to hang with their pitching. And it's an important series. Is it make or break this early in the season? No. But it could be important at the end of the year. Treat it like it's a playoff game. Yeah. Treat the series like it's important. Now, so you had Alcantara versus Cease today in a game, and Alcantara actually outdueled Dylan Cease. Sandy Alcantara going 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 0 earned, 4 strikeouts. Dylan Cease, 5 innings, 3 runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. I saw Bob Nightingale say, I wonder if Alcantara's start does enough to ease the angst of teams thinking about him because he hasn't been good all season, but of course is a former best pitcher in baseball. And the flip side, does Dylan Cease's struggles maybe give more hesitation because, frankly, this is his worst season since his rookie season with an ERA in the 4. So I don't know the answer. I do know one thing. For a fan, at least, it's like we're hanging on every single pitching performance. Are the Cubs watching? Like, how much value do you put in the one start before the trade deadline? And by the way, Gary Ross in our chat says, Sandy has been terrible. You're not paying that amount. Listen,
he likes Edward Cabrera, who you guys agree with. You both like Edward Cabrera.
I like
Edward
Cabrera, but don't forget he had an MRI in his elbow 2 starts ago.
Sure did.
Okay, so every one of these, there's not one of these guys that's a perfect answer.
Yeah.
Not one. But I like all of them better than the option of having a bullpen start against the Brewers.
Yeah, and I might as well toss in, too, as well. We're taping this on a Wednesday. Taj Bradley's pitching for the Rays tonight, too, as well, who also landed on that list of potential fits. When it comes to Sandy Alcantara and Dylan Cease, when you talk about Dylan Cease, the thing that does worry me just a little bit is that he's gotten somehow mechanically out of whack after what seemingly was multiple seasons of being all right. He's got a whip over 1.3, walked 3 guys today. He eats up a lot of pitches. So I'm just saying, I love the talent of Dylan Cease. I think it would be a great acquisition for the Chicago Cubs. My only recommendation is you better have somebody ready, possibly in that 5th inning, to come in and take out a guy who's pitching really well. Don't get me wrong, but 4 2/3 innings in is at 8 Ks and 104 pitches. That is Dylan Cease, and that's been kind of the moniker of his career. Sandy Alcantara, man, I don't know what to make sense of it because he is coming off an injury. I get it, former Cy Young, but he has been up and down. And if the chat says anything right now about them feeling up and down, about losing a 2 out of 3 to the Royals, is Sandy Alcantara at the price that I promise you the Marlins are going to want us to pay? Is the juice worth the squeeze for Sandy Alcantara? I'm a little skeptical with him.
Just first of all, just because the Marlins want a price for Sandy Alcantara doesn't mean other teams are going to be willing, but it only takes one.
Yep.
It only takes one crazy team to say, I only buy the last start and I know who he was. Now, it is short-sighted to look at the Sandy Alcantara deal and say, well, what if we don't fix him by the end of this season? Because it could be a trade that could be super beneficial next year. Like if you can get it turned around in the offseason even, now you've replaced Justin Steele for the long term, and if you can get that guy back, wow, it's a terrific move for even next year. So I don't want to say it's just a move for now, but I know he's been bad. None of it's perfect. Like Dylan Cease concerns me too. That was the Passon and Buster only saying that, a surprising player has emerged. It's Dylan Cease, and that it is a long shot still Dylan Cease. Of course, the Cubs were interested in him, but that didn't get done before.
It's getting floated, though. The Padres wouldn't mind entertaining offers, and that's why you say that to Buster only, right?
Well, the crazy thing is I would have assumed once the season started that the Padres would say, listen, we're in this with the Dodgers and Giants. Like, we're going for it.
Yeah.
We got to go for it when we have a team like this. And according to Only, they may be considering trying to thread that needle of moving Dylan Cease because they have bigger problems elsewhere. And then I guess if they can get the prospect that they need in that deal, they might be able to combine that to get the position players that they think they need. And maybe they can fill the hole around the pitching that, Cease frankly isn't giving him the greatest pitching anyways. So that might be, and he's a free agent at the end of the year. The one thing I don't know. I don't. All three of these guys have flaws for me.
Well, and now I want to get your take on what was your biggest takeaway from watching Seth Lugo stymie a Cubs offense? Granted, sans Kyle Tucker, but for 6 innings and 2 runs today.
I don't know.
Did you walk away impressed? Did you walk away feeling the same? Did you walk away maybe being like, maybe I was expecting more?
Number one, I'd rather have Bubic.
Yes, 100%.
Okay?
100%.
If you're going to trade with the Royals, I'd rather have Bubic. Would I be disappointed if Lugo was on the Cubs and pitched against the Brewers next week? No. No, I wouldn't if the price is the correct price. I don't want to overpay for him. I didn't see a guy that I'm going to be like super pumped and amped if he's pitching game 3 of a playoff series. I can't necessarily say that. He's a nice pitcher. He fits more of the bill for me, even though his ERA is actually really impressive. He fits for me more the bill of you need 2. And I would love to see, like, if he's the number one, I like Lugo as the second pick. Like, if you're going to go heavy on pitching, then I sort of want Lugo to be the 2, or I want someone just like Lugo. I want 2 guys like that.
The quantity.
I want to go quantity and see if I can catch one of those guys hot for the rest of the season. But it's not like he was. It's not. I mean, it's the only time I've seen him pitch this season. It's not like he was overwhelming the Cubs. I'll still say this: MacKenzie Gore is the unicorn that I want. Yeah. If I'm going to overpay and I'm going to trade guys, I want MacKenzie Gore. I want to talk them into MacKenzie Gore because it's not a trade just for today; it's a trade for the future. And Alcantara could potentially be that too. Obviously, Cease isn't that. Cease is a free agent at the end of the year. Lugo, I don't know where you want to go.
Yeah, MacKenzie Gore.
I don't know.
Yeah, MacKenzie Gore, at the very least, you can wrap your head around whatever package the Chicago Cubs put together for him. I think you can rationalize as a bang for your buck deal. And I think what we're talking about, especially when we think about Seth Lugo, is are these guys true difference makers? I think Seth Lugo can certainly help us win the division. I would have some questions, right? Can he get us to the NLCS? Could he pitch or start in a World Series game and get a win for you? That part makes me more reticent and maybe makes me look in another direction. Look, Seth Lugo is 35 years old. If you are a fan of Matthew Boyd, you actually will enjoy the career trajectory of what Seth Lugo has gone over the last couple of years. If you go on Baseball Savant and you check it out, he obviously, like Matthew Boyd, created some new shape with his cutter, created some new shape with his curveball and his slurve, and he's been using it far more than he ever has in his career over the last couple of years, and he's put up strong numbers in Kansas City doing it. It says here that he has 10 different pitches, okay? It also says here that if he was in a barbershop quartet, he'd sing falsetto. So he's got a lot in the toolbox, right? There's a lot to like, but again, 35 years old, a guy that doesn't throw super hard. Not nasty dominant stuff.
No,
he does have
they still miss that.
Yeah, he has an 86th percentile on movement and ride on curveballs and cutters and breaking stuff, which is good. That's what you like to see. That plays well. But again, is it that one piece? I don't think so. I'm in agreement. It would have to be a piece of several pieces that the Cubs probably maybe need to add if they go that route.
Let's just put it this way. If I had to pick somebody to throw in game 3 of a playoff series, and frankly, this guy would also have to help you get there, right?
Yes.
If I'm looking at someone to pitch game 3 of a playoff series, I feel better about Cabrera.
Yes.
I feel definitely better about MacKenzie Gore.
I feel better.
I feel better about, well, Ryan, if he were to be available. I don't think he is.
Oh, Joe Ryan and Duran. The combo right there, that's World Series to me. I think that's probably more pipe dream stuff.
I loved Duran back in the 80s.
Oh, man. Hungry like the wolf.
Hungry like the wolf. Get it done, Jed Hoyer.
The flock of seagulls hair right here.
Get it done, Jed Hoyer.
With a dangling
We are hungry
cross
like
earring.
a wolf for that trade. I don't know what you'd have to give up for it. Listen, we're going to talk more about these guys. What is the price you're willing to pay? We'll look back at trade history for what the Cubs have tried to do. We'll be reading the chat. I know a lot of people have opinions about Cabrera there, and people have opinions about Lugo, and people have opinions about Bubic. We'll get to all of it. It's all coming up next on the CHGO Cubs podcast. But first, a word from our terrific sponsors here at CHGO.
Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside is everything you need to elevate your summer, so if you're starting out, Sunnyside is expert guidance and brands we know that you'll love, like Good News and Mindy's. Just go in and talk to their wonderful bud tenders. If you're a pro, we've got you covered too, with over 100 strains on the menu, and new ones are added daily, so here's what you got to do. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. You just enter code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day. Only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. For existing users, use promo code CHGO50 for 50% off one Cresco Lab brand item.
Just like our favorite team needs a home field advantage, your home needs a home flooring advantage. And Empire Today can help you get it. Empire Today has flooring experts. We've all been to the big box stores. They might have a flooring department, but the person that's helping you with flooring may have been selling sinks and toilets the day before. They might be watering the garden center tomorrow. Empire Today lives and breathes flooring. Their flooring experts bring the showroom right to your home, and you can get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. So schedule a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners can receive a $350 discount when using the promo code CHGO. Pay attention. Those are 4 important letters that you should never forget. Yes, you heard it right. A $350 discount with the code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for full details. Remember, it's Empire.
Today, Michael Jordan basketball.
Back on CHGO Cubs, where the Cubs lose 8-4, 2 out of 3 games to the lowly, mediocre, Kansas City Royals from a bad division. Just a bad series for the Cubs at Wrigley Field. So we've kind of moved on to, guys, there's one overarching headline coming out of this series. It's not that we didn't know it, but it's just in highlighter now with exclamation marks, panic buttons on either side, and probably some sort of flame-throwing thing as well. They need pitching. They desperately need pitching. I still say they need bullpen pitching and starting pitching. And it's starting for me to push the third base thing further down the line. As much as I love the idea of having Suarez at third base, and if you can't get the pitching, that's a great secondary plan. But I want to see them attack pitching first, and I want to see them attack pitching fast so that we can see that pitching start to make an impact when they face the Brewers next week. I'm not worried about having it for the White Sox. I'm worried about having it when you start to play the Brewers and move forward. So here's some of the names. We mentioned that Lugo pitched today. We mentioned that Cease pitched today, and he pitched against Sandy Alcantara, however you want to say it. The one underlying thing about Dylan Cease, who's 29 and having, I guess, the worst season he's had since his rookie season by numbers. 40%, this was from Brett Taylor, wrote on Bleacher Nation, that 40% of his earned runs are really from like 3 bad starts and some home runs. So is it possible that those numbers are a little fudgy and you would still like Dylan Cease? Hey, if Dylan Cease were available for the right rental price, and you're not talking about including someone you really don't want to get rid of, yeah, sure. Then I'm all in on saying, would I want Dylan Cease on the Cubs staff? Yes. Any of these names, I would say yes. Do I want Cabrera on the Cubs staff? Yes, but I'm concerned that you are, going to have to pay his salary. I love that you have the control there, but what does the salary do for you? I don't know. And I am something while I want him, there is something that says, hey, his medical history isn't spectacular. And yeah, the MRI came back clear, but
they had to have one.
Anytime a pitcher has elbow discomfort and needs an MRI, even if it's not a bad thing now, that reeks and reeks and reminds me of the Justin Steele, everything's good. everything's good. Don't worry about
Just
it.
about to
Everything's
say.
good. And now everything is not good.
There is no perfect pitcher out here on the market, unfortunately. And this is where the Cubs and Jed Hoyer are going to have to probably try and do their best work. The part that's kind of like confusing to me about the Dylan Cease situation is, as it is being reported or floated out there, they could possibly consider moving on with him. It seems contingent on receiving back pieces that would allow the Padres then to use those prospect pieces to then go out and acquire offense or something else to the liking of their team. It feels a little complicated to me. Mm-hmm. And if you are the Chicago Cubs, do you have those types of pieces? I joked before, would they like any of the pieces from the Yu Darvish trade back? Could we interest you perhaps in a Christian Hernandez? But that one seems a little bit more, maybe just the Padres are just kind of floating it out there to see if they can get traction in other areas and make a different kind of deal.
Yeah. I don't really understand what the Padres are going to do, but one thing that intrigues me by the idea of them certainly floating this out to Buster Olney and passing to some others is that at least the Padres, who are in the mix and could be a World Series team, like I don't rule the Padres out as a possible World Series team. They had the Dodgers last year, by the way. But one thing it's showing me is that they are thinking outside of the box. They are trying to get creative. They are not just looking at it as, well, we got to fill this hole for this season and that'll be done. A plus B equals C. They're clearly thinking that if they float this out there and get the right deal, they might be able to move a guy that they aren't going to re-sign, who has pitched kind of meh, and might be able to not only help the future, but also actually improve the team, not addition by subtraction, but they're thinking if the deal's right, it's some sort of headline similar to that, right? It's like the Red Sox trading Devers to a different degree. Like they've traded Devers and they've been way better since doing it. It doesn't seem to make sense, but it has worked. And it doesn't mean that other teams can't do it. So all I'm saying is what I want from the Cubs is I want action. I want Jed to be as successful as he was this offseason with some of the moves. I want another Matthew Boyd type move. Is it too much to ask? Maybe. But man, you're in charge of the Cubs, and this is why we're putting our faith in you. Find me another Matthew Boyd out there. Is that Cabrera? I don't know. Is that Keller? I don't know. Is that Lugo? Maybe. Is it Bubic? Maybe.
Well, let me float a hypothetical
boy,
to
here we
you.
go.
Are you
Okay.
ready for this
Yeah.
one? Okay, here we go. Let's play the game that you're Jed Hoyer. And in this hypothetical, all along, you've had your eyes on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Mm-hmm. And you're saying to yourself, maybe it is Eugenio Suarez plus one of the pitchers.
Okay.
Merrill Kelly, Zach
Merrill
Gallen.
Kelly and Eugenio Suarez. I'm all in on that.
Okay, but what if the Arizona Diamondbacks say to you, look, we haven't made up our mind yet, and we're going to wait until Tuesday of next week. Or we might even wait up until the deadline. And what if also, Jed Stuckmeyer, there is a deal on the table right now for maybe one of these pitchers that we've already mentioned that you could get the deal done on Friday and Saturday. How are you managing that situation? Are you willing to wait on maybe the Arizona Diamondbacks, or are you trying to take the deal that's in front of you right now that guarantees that you'll get a deal done? Because what if the Diamondbacks win 5 in a row and they go, yeah, about that, we're sticking it, we're hanging on to them?
Yeah, it is a fascinating game of poker, and I hope Jed's good at poker. That's all I have to say. It is a It's fun to watch. It's anxiety-inducing to watch. I'm sure there are teams that are trying to push this closer and closer to the deadline.
Yeah.
And I don't want to take the wrong deal just because I'm anxious, but I also don't want to just burn games against the Brewers and let my target slip away and get to the end. We've had other years where we thought, well, they're getting this for Contreras and they're getting this for, and then you get to the end like the right deal wasn't there. And you're like, what? Come on. Like, How did that happen? How do we get sitting here with a bag of sand? Like, how did that happen? I don't want that to happen. Mm-hmm. I want them to go out and make a big move early, and then I want them to be in my perfect game plan. If I'm sitting there with Jed and I'm like, Jed, this is how you're going to do it, and I'm whispering in his ear, I'm like, this is what you're going to go do. You're going to go make the big move that sets everybody else into motion, into panic. But you're going to take care of your biggest need, and you're either going to get Gino Suarez at third, or you're going to go get that frontline pitcher that nobody thinks is being traded. One of those two is going to happen. You're going to take some of your chips off the table, but you're going to send everybody else into a frenzy, and you know you will have fixed that one problem. That will give me it'll be like Pepto-Bismol to my stomach, okay? And then I want you to sit back and wait like a great poker player, and I want you to just hold your chips and call everybody's bluff. And then when the time is right at the end,
on the river card,
we're sitting here waiting for our trade deadline show, I want you to throw down that extra ace. And I want you to say, oh, yeah, well, I got the ace.
Yep.
And slam it down on the table. And I want you to do it both for the future and for today. Listen, I don't know if there's going to be a work stoppage coming up. I just know there's baseball now and there's baseball next season. And I want the Cubs to be World Series contenders in both of them. Worry about the other stuff when it gets here. Stop with that. You're billionaires and you're professional teams. Go get it now. Go get it now. You got 2 years to get this done. Go get another World Series. And he's got to make the right moves. Man, I know he's going against some other smart people, and there's some other teams that have great farm systems and some other teams that have big bankrolls, bigger than the Cubs. But that doesn't mean you can't outwit all of them. And that's what he outwitted everybody on Matthew Boyd.
Great signing.
He outsmarted everybody on Matthew
Don't
Boyd.
tell me the Guardians could have brought him back. That money was nothing prohibitive towards what there are considered conservative, I guess, budget practices, I would say, in Cleveland, right? So, I mean, they could have easily done that. No, it was a smart move. We all thumbs up when Kyle Tucker was brought in. Brad Keller's been a great addition. Cole Thielbar's done the job so far. He's done some really good things. I'm hoping and praying that we're still sitting a little bit on that precipice of we know who the teams are that are selling. It's the Nationals. It's the Pirates. It's the Marlins. But when we're talking about guys off the Twins right now, they're only 4 games back in the wild card. When we are talking about the guys in the Diamondbacks right now, you can still make some sort of compelling case that they're still in it. Dylan Cease on the Padres, I mean, that would be a really interesting subtraction by addition move. We'd have to wait and see. The Nationals are definitely out of it.
2.0 back.
Yeah, Rich Hill
back at Wrigley, but this time pitching for the Cubs.
Good audition last night. Richie, baby, we loved what you did last night. Maybe come on down.
We got a Toyota super chat from Alan B. who says, and he was outsmarted by getting rid of Cam Smith for Kyle Tucker, so what's the point? Alan, I would say that's a possibility, but I cannot go there because one season of Kyle Tucker has helped put us in this position to be in the mix for a division championship and have the best record in baseball and be considered as a World Series contender, and Cam Smith would not.
Yeah,
so I can't say that until I find out that Cam Smith is definitely better than Matt Shaw. I don't know that they wanted Cam Smith over Matt Shaw. Like that might have been a choice the Cubs made, and the Astros just took whoever the Cubs gave him. I don't know the answer. We don't know the Cam Smith answer yet. And you are going to make trades where there are players you regret losing. But we're going to do some revisionist history in the last block of this last block of this segment that explains both sides of it. It can happen, but that's part of the fun of baseball and the trade deadline and what it means to go after it. Baseball, making a trade at the trade deadline or 2 or 3 doesn't guarantee you a World Series. But man, aren't we sick and tired of sitting around and going with the route that we've been going the last 3-4 years?
Yeah.
Enough. I don't need to watch playoff baseball again. Give me the best chance I have of getting to go after it and really make a run at winning the division. The key has to be winning the division. I don't want to play an extra series. I want to have the best record, win the division, and take a whole series off the table. That's how I want to improve my chances. And to do that, they're going to have to make some bold moves, and they're going to have to make some smart moves.
Yeah, I would honestly, I would encourage, drop in the comments, Alan, some more specifics on that, because I don't think we're going to have the debate that Cam Smith's having a better season than Kyle Tucker at this point. So I think maybe he's alluding to the point of he didn't somehow Jedi mind trick the Houston Astros to take Matt Shaw instead of Cam Smith. Also, at the same time, you could say that it's nice that Jed Hoyer had 2 third basemen ready to play Major League Baseball, and the price of business for a guy like Kyle Tucker might have been Cam Smith, and at least he covered his bases to say, well, at least I have another one in there too as well.
Alan says, I'd just rather be a solid team than watch a rebuild after getting rid of all of our prospects in hopes that we can win with 1 year of Kyle Tucker. We'll talk more about that. We'll talk about some of the past trades and what the Cubs might be willing to do in a second. But first, a word from our sponsors. Get ready for this. I've lived in Cook County for more than 40 years. Ooh. I've been a homeowner in Cook County for 20. Overpaying for property taxes is something way too many Cook County residents are doing, and you don't have to be one of them. In Cook County, that appeals window will vary by township. It closes up real rapidly, can be difficult to win. With Ownwell, their experts ensure you're prepared for when it counts. Sign up in under 3 minutes. In Cook County, Ownwell has a 25% contingent fee, meaning you only pay if your property taxes are reduced. And 86% of Ownwell's customers receive a reduction. No upfront costs, savings, or free guarantee. Only pay if you save. They average saving you $1,100. Save money on your Cook County property taxes with Ownwell. Sign up in less than 3 minutes. Get your appeal going at ownwell.com/cook. That's OWNWELL.com/cook.
Luke, do you know what Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake is doing right now?
A deal?
They are firing off fireworks with big savings all month long. So here's what you got to do. Come in today to shop the Freedom to Save sales event and drive home with $10,000 off MSRP on new Chevrolet models, or check out their selection of over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. As one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, they're able to keep their prices competitive, so you know you'll get a great deal. Plus, Ray's price promise lets you shop confidently, because the price you see is the price you pay. Go see for yourself. Visit our partner at their convenient location right on Route 12 in Fox Lake, and don't miss out on their Freedom to Save sales event going on all month long for $10,000 off MSRP on all new Chevrolet models. So here's what you do. The most important thing. Shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or at raychevrolet.com today.
Ray, baby, we love you. Cubs lose 8-4. They lose 2 out of 3 to the Royals. We will see how this all unfolds. We're a little less, or we're a little over a week away from the trade deadline. We've been talking about that. Who are you willing to go after? Who do you want to go after? And we haven't really discussed too much. Who are you, today at least, who are you willing to give up? I do want to mention Owen Caissie. And most rentals are not going to cost. You're not giving up Owen Caissie for a rental. Even Dylan Cease, you're not giving up Owen Caissie, your top prospect. However, the Cubs have to make a decision that I think, and I would assume this has already been made in their front office. What is the number that they are going to offer Kyle Tucker? I need to know what they probably have to have established by now. What is the number you're going to offer Kyle Tucker? And how will that impact the future? So that impacts contracts you're taking on right now. It impacts whether or not you're willing to part with Caissie in a bigger deal for somebody like a MacKenzie Gore, right? Like, what is that number? And then realistically with that number, what's the percentage in your head do you think realistically to the Cubs, not to us? What's the percentage they believe that he's gone or staying at the number that they have, right? Like, Do they think they've got a 50-50 chance with their number? Do they think they've got a 60-40 chance? Do they think they only have a 25% chance with that number? Gary Ross says, Craig, I put it at 75-25. He's gone. I'm sort of in that camp. Like, I'm thinking like maybe a 25% chance that Kyle Tucker's back. Now, if that's the case, now the value to me for keeping Owen Caissie is even higher.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much I'm willing to move on from a player like Caissie. I don't think they're trading him, but if you're trading him, the haul better be pretty good. Have you seen what he's been doing? He's got
5 for 5 last night.
5 for 5 last night. He's also got 8 home runs this month. He has a batting average of like almost 340 since June 1st. And he's got 20 home runs, more than he already hit last year. And the most important thing that you've started to see from like early June to now is that the strikeout rate, while still too high for most people, it is starting to come down a little bit. And it needs to at the AAA level before you're going to feel comfortable about that. But that's going to increase his value, whether that's in a trade or not. But the reality is you got to understand that Kyle Tucker may not be here next year, and he would be the first person you would think that might fill the void. Are there other ways? Yeah, you might get Schwarber in free agency. Then you're going to have to get really creative in the offseason. And I don't want to just give up on getting the best player for right now, but it's, man, Jed Hoyer's going to get paid what he deserves if he makes the right moves in this situation. Caissie's a tricky one. Caissie's a tricky one because I saw that Lance Brozdowski put out and tweeted that one of his things leading up to, from Marquee Network, Lance does a great job, one of his things leading up to the trade deadline is that he's hearing for some teams that Jackson Wiggins' value is more than even Caissie's value. And whether or not is that for most teams that Wiggins' value is more than even Caissie's value. Because the strikeout rate, even though these numbers are great, doesn't guarantee you that you have a future all-star at the major league level. How many times have we seen that? How many Micah Hoffpowers have we seen tear up the minor league system and say, oh, this guy's going to hit? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm not saying 100%. He's not better than Micah Hoffpauir.
Matt Mervis, recent example.
Just tearing up AAA doesn't guarantee that he's going to be a star. And I would agree with Craig that if Caissie gets traded, it's going to be a huge deal, a blockbuster deal. And I would consider adding MacKenzie Gore simply that.
Right. And so just to double back really quick on the Kyle Tucker thing, I think Becky said 425 to 475 in the chat. I would agree with that range.
Under 5?
I think putting a 5 in front of the contract, I think may be the limit for the Chicago Cubs. I think that's maybe the area where, I'm just saying this today, I think with a 5 in front of it, I think that's the range when you start outbidding the Chicago Cubs.
And I think that puts them at less than 25%.
Right.
Because I think somebody will certainly go 5.
Right. And so, and then that gets into the offseason question of, well, they better spend $300 million on a collection of players. But anyways, when it comes back to Owen Caissie, yeah, I think the most important thing to remember, and we came up with a bunch of trades that the Chicago Cubs have executed over the last 25 years, is that to get some of these deals done, especially with all the players that we've been talking about, and we're not talking about Jacob deGrom, Chris Sale. I'm not even going to throw Joe Ryan into this. A lot of these guys on this list maybe aren't going to necessarily take an Owen Caissie to get the deal done. I'm with you. A blockbuster, multiple players, Arizona Diamondbacks, maybe then Owen Caissie comes into play. But again, when you're talking about your top prospects, you can get a lot of deals done and get a lot of value back that don't necessarily mean that you're trading your number 1, number 2, number 3 guys. It can come from a collection of other players too as well. Of course, desperation plays a wonderful factor into this formula right now with Jed Hoyer and the Chicago Cubs trying to push towards the division race. But, I mean, yeah, if they could walk out of this trade deadline with Owen Caissie, I think it would certainly be a plus. My only other part about it too is that, to your AAA point, just very, very quickly, is that we've seen Amaya come up and struggle. We saw PCA come up and struggle. PCA made it through the tunnel. He's on the other side. Amaya has shown flashes. I'm not going to say he's on the other side of it. And Matt Shaw's going through it right now. So you would have to say to yourself in 2026, we're cool with Owen Caissie playing right field in Wrigley Field and maybe going through a lot of the struggles that we're bemoaning with some of these players that we've seen over the last year and a half.
Josh in the live YouTube chat says Cubs have spent 4 years building the farm system with no product on the field. Prospects are prospects. Pony up and make a trade. You need another starter before the Brewers series.
Like it, Josh.
I mean, I say amen to that.
Yeah.
They just have to make the right. He has to make the right decisions, but he also can't go into it with the total fear of you've made the wrong move. Like, you have to trust what you're doing And yes, that's what's going to cost to go after it right now. Like right now, you have to go after it. I'm not saying that Owen Caissie is untouchable for me. Nobody in that set. Wiggins is not untouchable for me. And very early in the show, there was a chat from somebody that said, right now, DFA, Turner, and Bruhan, and call up Long and Caissie. I have no problem with the first part of what you're saying of DFA these two guys and replace them with somebody else.
Where is Caissie playing?
My point is this. It's not about where's Caissie playing. It's about if you want to go into the stretch run here and try and get to a World Series and win the division and win the World Series, if you're counting on Shaw, if you're counting on Long, if you're counting on Owen Caissie, if you're counting on Palencia still, if you're counting, and you want to go down the list of all the young guys you want to count on, Cade Horton, you're counting on way too many prospects because it's just not everybody takes off like that, and you're going to get the roller coaster ride that's going to leave us sitting with a pit in our stomach. That's why you can't go just bring up every prospect at one time. It isn't 2015. These guys aren't 2015 prospects. So you have to remember it played out different. Now, what have the Cubs shown? Have they shown that they will stash somebody down in the farm system just to have them to trade at some point? Yes, they've done it. Gleyber Torres was that guy. And did he turn out to be a pretty good piece? Yeah, he turned out to be a pretty good Major League Baseball player. Yeah. But was he worth winning the World Series? Yeah.
1,000%.
Yes, he was worth that. And so, yeah, you lost. And by the way, Gleyber Torres is ranked higher than anybody the Cubs have in their farm system right now. Right?
He is 28th overall in 2016, and then in 2017, he was the third-ranked Major League prospect.
Eloy, when they traded him, was ranked higher as a Major League prospect than anybody in the Cubs farm system right now. And where is Eloy?
I don't know.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
GPS
like, that's why you can't be afraid, because, yes, there are times where you will look back and the Mets will say, how did we trade PCA? But there are times where you will also say, man, what if the Tigers would have taken Verlander for Eloy? What a fleecing that would have been, right? So it can go either way at either time. Yeah, I agree. Torres is an average baseball player. And so a lot of these prospects, sometimes even if they turn out that, you go, well, that wasn't so bad. I don't know. I want this move before the Brewers series. I want a legit pitcher in here before the Brewers series. And I don't know if that's Bubic, if they can get it done. I don't know if it's Cabrera. I don't know if it's MacKenzie Gore.
Feels like Mitch Keller's kind of cooled off. It feels like the Mitch Keller conversation has cooled off a little bit.
I'm still all in on Mitch Keller, but Mitch Keller has a contract and things too that also play into the future. And I'm willing to make that move. But I want Keller to be a tandem deal. There's almost a point where if they get MacKenzie Gore, I'm like, okay, you've done enough for the starting rotation. Now go get your closer, your third base, or not your closer, but like your back end reliever to go with Palencia or third base.
Yeah.
Then if you can go that front ended, or you want to take a flyer on somebody, Charlie Morton, or whoever you want to just give up nothing for, and MacKenzie Gore. Now you're talking my language. It's going to be so fascinating the next couple of days. Cubs have an off day tomorrow. Corey and Brendan will have their normal Thursday podcast for you, Cubs related, coming up Thursday night. Then it's Friday, White Sox, Cubs, Saturday, Sunday. Sunday, we confirmed the watch along. We will be doing a watch along with the Sox guys. We're going to cross-town combine this, and we're going to watch the game. We're going to do a watch-along right here on the Cubs YouTube channel. Join us, watch Cubs Sox with us, and hopefully that will include lots of heated trade talk. And I'm sure Sean will try to pitch us a few of the Cubs Sox trades that he would like to make. And I don't
Adrian Hauser chat
I know.
Coming in.
He'll be heaping Hauser at us. All I know is the Cubs lost 8-4. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Royals. Is the Brewers game over? I don't know, but it looked like it was over.
They're up 10-2.
Yeah, so they're going to be a game back again, and it is time to add pitching Jed Hoyer. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. You got one more thing you want to say, Sarah?
I was going to say, don't forget, if you guys, we have prepped a lot of breaking news graphics for the trade. So if you follow us on CHGO Cubs, follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, you can follow us on YouTube and stay up to date with all your trade deadline needs.
Thanks to Joey for jumping in today. Thanks to Sarah for running the ones and twos. And thanks to Brian G., who just agreed with me. Thanks for watching the CHGO Cubs podcast. Appreciate you. See you next time. Until then, fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.